I must say, when I first heard about Marvel Rivals, it caught me by surprise in more ways than one. I mean, from the outside looking in, I thought, oh, a new competitor to Overwatch. I mean, it looks similar, but just with Marvel characters, which was quite interesting to say the least. Now, I'm someone who used to play a ton of Overwatch, but eventually, the game just did not satisfy me anymore, and I was somewhat unsure if I wanted to dive back into that realm again. I basically erased the idea of booting up Overwatch from my thought process, with the exception that I would only play if all my friends joined me, which they did not, and that's fine. I believe it was back in July when they had a closed beta for Marvel Rivals, which I did not get a chance to partake in, but the players that did participate and later expressed their thoughts online seem to all have shared common responses. This game would be the Overwatch killer, but what does that mean exactly? It might not be too hard to do at this point with how disappointing Overwatch 2 was, but what will be so special about this game? There have been many situations and conversations like this in the past. For example, XDefiant will be the COD killer, Concord will top Destiny 2's multiplayer, and the first Descendant will be like all these games in one plus more blah blah blah. But in all actuality, from what I can tell, these games did not live up to their expectations. But it's a new game, I wanted to keep my hopes high, because this is a subjective statement. Everyone's experience with the game is going to be different. So I watched a little gameplay, found a couple characters I was interested in, and patiently waited for its release on December 5th, 2024. And after 20 plus hours with the game, playing both solo and with a full squad, grinding out quick matches before testing the waters of ranked, I came to this conclusion. For those who might not know, Marvel Rivals is a new superhero team-based PvP shooter in the Marvel Universe, and it's a very fast-paced game. Matches are extremely quick to find, which is such a blessing, and I think it's perfect for those who might not have hours of free time for a legit gaming session, with the fact you can just get in, scrap, and get out. Now I'm playing on PS5, and I have not experienced any performance issues other than slight lag during a team fight or two, and I also have a few friends that are playing on PC, and for the most part, they haven't had any issues worth arguing about either. Mostly it's just the need to lower the graphics, but despite that, I hear it still runs smooth and the graphics hold up well. 33 character roster at launch, full of well-known favorites with more to come. The roster is divided into 3 classes: Vanguard, Duelist, and Strategist, aka your tank, DPS, and support. It's a 6v6 matchup similar to Overwatch 1 before they made the switch to 5v5 in Overwatch 2, and this might not be a big deal, but personally, I think this would be ideal for PvP games. That way you can have 2 of each class on your team. I say that, however, Marvel Rivals seems to be a little more open to experimenting. Now this could just be because the game is still fresh and everyone is still learning the meta, or people just wanted to play whoever they want. Either way, from the time I spent, I don't think it really matters much unless it's higher ranks and competitive. But even then, it's nothing to change roles mid-match. But other than having to experiment with team comps on your own, the game also implements team-up abilities. So for example, one of my favorites is with the team of Venom, Spider-Man, and Penny Parker, 2 tanks and a DPS. When activated, Venom shares part of his symbiotes and they get converted into explosive spikes on the suit or armor of Spider-Man and Penny. Now this can cause damage to the enemy as well as force them back in a big team fight. I think it's an interesting concept. It's also cool to look at unless you're the one that's being hit by it. And there are multiple team ups in the game to play around with, just depends on the characters that you choose. Speaking of characters, everyone's base model is very well designed, except Iron Fist. Bro, I hate this guy so much. He's like a pack of freaking Nathan hot dogs or something. But on a serious note, I think the costumes for the most part are appealing. Overall, the game is just easy on the eyes. The colors pop, both light and dark, and I'm very big on visuals. That can literally make or break a game for me, so this is a big plus in my book. But anyway, this is not a review video, just giving my first impressions on my experience so far. And I will say this, I normally play tanks as my main role, but I said I would switch it up and play something new this time around. I lied. Actually, everything I said I was going to do in this game, from the class I play and the character I choose, every single thing I envisioned, I was wrong about all of it, and I had to go back to the drawing board. This game has already humbled me and said, know your role and stay in your lane. I have not tried the entire roster just yet, so there just might be someone there for me, but so far I'm at a loss. To save some time, I won't discuss the supports because I don't usually play that role and have not tested those characters enough to form an opinion. But starting with DPS, Winter Soldier, one of my top picks. I love his character in the movies, told myself I would commit in the name of Bucky Barnes. I lied like hell. Character just did not mesh well with me. I mean, one side said he was similar to McCree in Overwatch, then another side said he was similar to Roadhog, who was actually one of my mains. And I can see the comparison for both, but he's still a little challenging for me. I have to practice with him a little bit more in my downtime. I tried Punisher as well, because he's beefy. I wish he was a tank, but it is what it is. He's strong, got 2 guns, a turret, zip line. I think he's fun, and I pick him when available, but I speak for myself when I say I do feel his gameplay will get boring fairly quick. Similar sentiments to Hawkeye and Squirrel Girl and even Iron Man, just to name a few that I've played. They're fun, nope, don't get me wrong, not saying they're horrible in any way. In the right hands, I'm sure they are diabolical, but those hands just do not belong to me. I'd rather just keep dabbling with the rest of the roster first before stressing myself out too soon. I do like Scarlet Witch though. I think she's very beginner friendly and does great damage, decent escape options. Ultimate can be extremely beneficial if used correctly. Maybe my issues with DPS and support actually is just the fact that they have low health. 250, 275, it just isn't enough for me, honestly. I would run into a team fight and get sniped instantly or get mauled by freaking Iron Fist. Did I mention that I hate this dude? Oh my god, he's ugly, he can't dress, his mama don't love him. I hate everything about this scumbag. His damage output is ridiculous and it deserves to be nerfed below the ground. He just bounces around and goes brainless, and honestly, the most annoying character in the game so far. Even Jeff's ultimate, annoying as it is, does not compare to how much hatred I have for this chump. I literally hope every file in the database for Iron Fist only gets corrupted and deleted from the game. You see, it's characters like this that got me into playing tanks, because that's always been home for me. I'll happily sacrifice my mobility if it means I get to bully the enemy team and block majority of their damage while dealing a significant amount myself. I remember grinding so hard in Overwatch with Reinhardt, and that's really how I got my name Big Body Gotti. That's all I know, but I'm not a one-trick pony. Now, on the topic of tanks, Marvel Rivals has 8 options for me to choose from. Okay, let's start with the list. Captain America, Doctor Strange, Groot, Hulk, Magneto, Penny Parker, Thor, and last but not least, Venom. And I hated them all. I practiced with each one of them for a decent amount of time, Venom being my first pick initially. Things were going well at first, but yeah, I got bored, and everyone wants to play Venom, so it's just like, whatever. But out of 8 tanks, I did find myself enjoying 2. Doctor Strange and Penny Parker. Now Strange, his kit is pretty cool. I love the portal setup, whether it goes good or bad, I never feel like I wasted my ability. The cooldown is just dumb long, but that's understandable because you definitely don't want the enemy team to spam portals, especially with the endless possibilities you have with it. He's got good range with his basic attacks, nice big shield similar to Reinhardt, and I love the fact that you can float in the air and still use it. Basic attacks build up dark magic, press a button, boom, burst damage to nearby enemies. Big help for aggressive DPS monsters like he who shall not be named for the remainder of this video. I like him, a great pocket character, but Penny Parker is my saving grace. I'm not gonna lie, due to having a slight character crisis, I actually questioned whether or not I was having fun with the game or did I just enjoy having all my friends in Discord again playing together. You know, it was just weird, but it was an important question to ask because I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time or anything. But Penny changed my way of thinking. I mean, you ever heard people say if you look good, you feel good, and if you feel good, you do good? Well, at first, when I tried Penny, I did not understand her at all. The only true reason I considered playing her more and watching the guide is because I myself am a big mech suit enjoyer, and her model is fire. Now, I hated the original color. However, I got a free costume for her on PlayStation, so now she looks straight out of Evangelion, which is an anime I enjoy, and if you've been to my Twitch streams, you'll see that I have that as my wallpaper forever. So now she fit my standards when it comes to the cool factor. I mean, Penny is a ranged shooter. She can shoot and stun enemies for a short amount of time with a spider web. She has 4 mines that are extremely useful for traps, as well as when someone is trying to 1v1 you. It's an effective option select to use for more damage. She's got good health, good mobility, she can run up walls, she can zip to her webs, she can bounce from the ceilings. I mean, you name it, she can do it. I actually started to feel confident with her the more I played. Like each game I learned something new and it was just a great feeling. I noticed I was scoring positively practically every game. I was doing double the damage of my teammates who were playing DPS while still blocking like 10k worth of damage. Even did a good number of healing for myself. The negative emotions just started to fade away, and honestly, what more can you ask for? All in all, look good, feel good, do good. So it's safe to say I found my main until further notice. Long story short, I think it's still extremely early to judge the game in my opinion, but from the time I spent, I think I would recommend this to anyone that's looking for a nice casual game to get into. It's not too time consuming, again, fairly quick matches depending on the game mode. We gotta see how the future patches will be though, regarding nerfs and buffs, or what characters will be added and what effects they'll have on the meta. The good thing is, it's free to play, so you can pick it up, take a break, and jump back into it like you never left. 90% of the time I play with friends, but it's still very enjoyable if you play solo, even in ranked. And hopefully the game continues to do well. I mean, I'm all for longevity, especially in the gaming world, but we'll see. I'll mess around with some more DPS and see how I feel, or maybe even try support before I completely write them off. But that's all I got for you guys. If you made it this far in the video and have played Marvel Rivals, let me know who you main and what made you pick them. Also, drop a like on the video and sub to the channel if you're new. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'll catch y'all on the next one.